Hello, beautiful people. Let's just adjust this. Hi, welcome. This is Sheila Bicknell, BlueWater Oracle, and it is Wednesday afternoon, July 9th, 2025. And I'm coming to you just west of Montreal in Quebec, Canada, to pull some cards to look at this phase of the year, where we are, what's going on, and to check in with our July card as well. So for those of you who know me, I am an Oracle intuitive. I am a card reader. I am a guide. I'm somebody who's curious about life, curious about messages, whether it's from spirit, from our higher selves, from ourselves as people chatting to each other, and also from the earth, from where we live and the earth connections that we have. So combining all of this together, we get to have a great conversation, and we get to have some insights and to look at things in new ways and in different ways and see what is most important to us in the moment. So here we are, it's July. And in my year wheel, the card that we pulled for July is Skull of Light. So let me show this to you. So Skull of Light is from the Halloween Oracle. There we go. By Stacey DeMarco and published by BlueAngel Publishing. So Skull of Light, and the secondary word is Illumination. So the reading for that, you can find it in the text of this video down below or wherever it shows up. You can find it on my BlueWaterOracle.com website, as well as on my Facebook page. And also the video you can find here on Blue Water Oracle on the YouTube, which is where we are, under the year wheel. So you can have a look at that. So I wanted to check in today. Sometimes I do these as events, and today I wanted to just come on a live on YouTube, even though I know that my audience is very tiny. But I wanted to come on because it feels like it's a great full moon, and it's a beautiful time to be working with this Skull of Light, to be working with the cards and see what wants to come up for us as we touch base with ourselves. So for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is summertime. We are in the summer, and it's a gorgeous day today. It's hot, it's sunny, clouds are rolling through at times. We've had rain. And so it's really quite a lovely time here. All the flowers are blossoming, the bees are busy, the beetles are busy. Everything's busy out in the garden in our area. But we're inside to touch base, to go in a little bit, because we've got a full moon coming. So the full moon comes full in our area, Eastern Daylight Time Zone, which is a Montreal time zone, at 4:36 tomorrow, Thursday, July 10th. So adjust that based on your own time zone. We saw her coming up last night when I was outside chatting with a friend on the deck, and she was coming up and she was bright and beautiful. So hopefully it'll be a clear night for us as well. But whether we see her directly or not, she is still there. So you can put crystals out, you can put your cards for clearing, whether it's in a windowsill like I have up here, or outside if it's safe and not wet, or if it's cloudy and you can't see the full moon, then take a moment, breathe in, set the intention, lay them out, touch them, and allow them to get the cleansing in whatever way they need to be able to be valuable tools for you, honorable, clear, honest as well, and to release whatever is not working anymore for them and for you. And so let's have a look. We got full moon coming in, okay? And let's have a look at our skulls a little more in detail. So this is something I wanted to do because the skulls is such an interesting symbol, and it's been around, of course, since the beginning of the human. In terms of our skulls, there's been skulls around for a lot longer than that as well, for all different creatures. But with this deck, the Halloween Oracle, the skulls feature in a whole bunch of different cards. And in my membership group, the Oracle Cove, last week, we were working with this specific card for July. And so we touched base with a bunch of the different skull cards from this deck. And I wanted to bring forward through the reading, through this card, the sacredness of the skulls and what the skulls mean and what they work with and what they want to bring to you. So remember your own sacredness, at this point. Check in with it for yourself. Where are you sacred? What does that mean for you? How do you feel about it? How do you reorient yourself in that? How do you allow that for yourself as well? Skulls have been used in a lot of different history. Of course, I was looking up some of my symbolism books, and they represent death, but also life can come in as well. They can also be indicators of conquering when it's in war, or warriors or sacrifices as well in different historical times and places. Of course, in Mexico, there's a celebration, the Day of the Dead, where we're honoring and remembering those who have died, who have passed over. And you see the skull as a very decorated and beautiful aspect of that day, of the Dios de los Muertos, right, coming in. There was also a part in one of my books, what it talked about from a group of monks in Rome, Italy, that for them, the use of the skulls was to remind people of their own mortality, but also to remind them to be in the present moment, to live in the present moment, and maybe not get stuck in other stuff. So I thought that was really interesting. From Stacey DeMarco's guidebook with this deck, The Skull of Light, Illumination, she talks about knowing thyself for this specific card. And there's a little phrase that she gives. It says, we can stay in the dark, exist only in the midnight hours, but shining the torch, the victory is ours. So you'll see if you read my reading for July that that aspect of the torch comes in, because there's another skull card that has a candle on it, and that features in this reading. It comes up as an important part to bring the light in. How do we bring the light in? Especially for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere where you're in the winter and the shorter days right now. She also says with this card, know your own darkness, know your own shadows, because it helps you understand yourself, but it also helps you to understand and better work with or better relate to the darkness, the shadows, the challenges that other people might be going through and experiencing for themselves. This card brings clarity of bright illumination. And don't we all need that? Don't we all want that? That's part of card readings. When people come in for intuitive readings or oracle readings or working with the cards, they are looking for clarity. They're looking for illumination to help them make choices and to understand decisions and to better see what their next steps are. So clarity of bright illumination with this card is so valuable. And then it also says that the time when you pick this card, the time has passed for hiding, for pretending, for anything that's like that. So it's really putting the bright light on stuff. Even if we don't always want to see what that bright light is showing, this card is saying, hey, guess what? It's time to do this. So that was from Stacey DeMarco's guidebook. But then in my own reading, when I pulled the beginning of the year, right? I think it was January 1st when I did the year wheel for this year. And this July card with the Skull of Light, it talks a lot about similar things to what came up in the guidebook, but it also talks about July being a very spiritual time. So there's bringing in the light, welcoming in the light and the illumination in whatever way is important for you. But then it's also looking at July as being very spiritual, and connecting with that for yourself. For what are your spiritual practices? What do you utilize? How do you practice things? What do you bring in as represents spirit to you or spirituality to you? So you can connect in with that as well. As I mentioned before, I brought in candles, so all different ways that you can bring in light and illumination. And it also brings in the concept of love. So at the end of the reading, it says this card reading energy also has a lot of love. With the pink color, it's bringing in that love energy and that heart-centeredness. So even though it's a skull card, the reading is bringing in heart-centered and how that can be a beautiful guide for you. So have a look at the reading and check in with that. See where it's important to you. See where it resonates with you for this month. And there's also a reminder that came through definitely earlier in the month to say, if you've done your own year wheel, or if you received a year wheel, or if you pull cards or pull symbolisms for yourself for each month, then check in with that. Maybe you've forgotten. Maybe it was a while ago that you did it, or you've forgotten to do it so far for July. So pull a card, pull a rune, have a moment to journal for about your month. Have a moment to meditate or to check in, go for a walk with yourself and see, what is my month about? What is feeling in for me this month, especially as we step into the full moon phase. When I pull cards, when I pick up a deck, sometimes I'm shuffling and sometimes a card shows itself. So the Halloween Oracle did this when I read for my Oracle Cove group last week with this monthly card. The bottom card was one that had a skull on it. So today the bottom card got my attention, and it's the Mummy. So it's a skull is there, but it's mummified, right? So it still has skin on it. It has the toweling or the wrapping on it. And of course, it's got a big, is it a full moon behind it, or is it the bright sun? It's a bit hard to tell with the coloring, but it could be either of them. So is it the illumination of the full moon, or is it the reminder that the light of the full moon is actually the reflection of the sun? So is the light from the sun. So this is the Mummy card, and the secondary word is change. So as you step into this full moon phase in July, the full moon can be called the buck moon, the berry moon. You may know it as something different in your area. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it will have a different energy as well. But what does it mean for you? What are you looking to change? And as the book says, are you wrapped up in something that is pretending, that is hiding, that is not representing you now? Are you not allowing yourself to be light, to be illuminated, to be clear? Are you needing to bring some light in to help you see things better, or to help you to slough off something that is no longer fitting? And then there's an alternative way to do it. There's an alternative way to make your practices, to do your action steps, to connect to a spirit, to connect with yourself. So that's what the Mummy wanted to bring in. And maybe it's bringing in something else for you. And we talked about sacredness before. And of course, the Mummy is a very, very sacred. And here it's in Egypt, of course, and it is highly sacred there. So what does this card mean for you in this July phase coming into the full moon? Let's pull a couple of extra cards. So for those who don't know me, whenever you're watching this, if you're watching live, or if you've caught this later on, I'm going to share it onto my YouTube, on my Facebook, my Facebook as well. I have a bunch of different decks. I'm a multi-deck reader, so you can't see them on my desk over here, but I have a whole bunch of different Oracle card decks. I've got 2 tarot decks as well, and they come and work with me intuitively. So they bring the messages from the energies for the highest good, for the highest self, for helping you to be guided, to reflect, to better understand, or just to have a moment to go, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, or oh, I didn't think about it that way, and allow me to do so. So let's look first. We've got the Mummy card that was an additional card for our Skull of Light. So let's pull an extra card on that. So I want a card around the light, the skull first. Let's pull a card around the meaningness, the symbolism, the sacredness of the skulls at this point. Maybe you've got crystal skulls. Let me know. All right. A lot of people do. They're very, very important, very powerful, the skulls. So let's look at the different decks and see which one wants to come up. So I'm getting drawn to the Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. So I'm going to pull. So this is around the July card that we have, the Skull of Light. And this is the skulls aspect. We're pulling a card around the skulls and the sacredness and the symbolism. So you can check in with, how do you respond to the concept of skulls as a symbol, as a meaningful guide? What does it represent to you? What does it bring up? Maybe it's a really easy one. Maybe it's a very difficult one. Maybe it's full of fear or worry, or maybe it's very meaningful and it brings back some history to you. So from the Gilded Tarot, for the skulls aspect of this July card, we get the Hanging Man. So the Gilded Tarot is a traditional tarot, but it's very shiny and gold, hence the gilded. And this is number 12 in the major arcana. The high cards, symbolism, life events, archetypes all come into this. And it's the Hanging Man. So when we look at this card, we've got the sunshine in the top on this deck. So we've got this sort of mechanical pole with the sun. So we really do have the sun like we had with the mummy card, or the reflection on the moon. And then we have this fellow who's hanging. He's upside down, but he's really only chained on one ankle. So he's not hanging by his throat, as one could sometimes think of in this. He's hanging upside down. So where do you want to look at with the change that perhaps the mummy brought in, or the skull of light, things that want to illuminate? Where are you tied up? Where are you holding yourself in something? Where are you not allowing freedom? Or where do you need to be using a different perspective, a different point of view to help you see better and then choose forward for yourself? So he's upside down, which of course you would see things totally differently when he's upside down. But if he wanted to get out of this situation, in this case, he would have to use some abdominal muscles to pull himself up, but then he could unwrap the chain from around his leg. And then he could maybe hold on to the bar on the top. But then what's below? That's the mystery. We don't know what's below in this card. We don't know if it's ground. We don't know if it's air. We don't know if it's sea. We don't know if it's fire. We don't know what's below him. He does. And sometimes that's part of the shadow, right? As this card said, as the skull of light card said, sometimes that's part of the challenge, is that when we illuminate, we get to see what's there. And sometimes we're like, woohoo, that's great. I'm so happy I get to see that. And at other times you're like, oh man, I didn't want to see that, or I didn't want to know that that was something I was looking at, or I needed to walk through or walk into. Okay. So be patient with yourself. Sorry. Be patient with yourself as well. It's going to take a little bit of oomph to, heft himself up and get himself untangled and unhanging. Or maybe he just wants to pause, and it's valuable and it's helpful just to be pausing in that moment. But the sun is there, so there's some creativity, there's some fiery energy that he can work with as well. What else does the hanging man bring to you? Thinking about full moon, thinking about July, we're July 9th, July 10th coming in. What does it bring? Illumination, light, skulls, right? So don't hang yourself. That's a good thing from this card with the skulls. Don't hang yourself for something that has been. So this is looking at the energy around that sort of life, death, renewal, letting go, forgiveness. That's all tying in there. So if there's something that has been for yourself, that has been part of your life, maybe it was an error, a mistake, a challenge, a really difficult time, or something that you're holding on that you're not sure what to do with or how to move forward from. This card with the skull of light, so these two together are working to say, hey, don't hold yourself in the hanging mode. And I'm not talking about actual hanging. I'm talking about this, like hanging from your feet, or being stuck in something, or being unable to move forward in something. And of course, if you're feeling very difficult times, please reach out for help. There are call centers, there are call lines. Hopefully you have friends or family that you can also call to if you need to, or get yourself to a hospital center. Call 911 if you need to, or whatever the mental health number is, if that's something that's coming up for you. Okay, really important. Please take care of yourself. You're highly valuable. And the skull of light with this hanging man is to say, okay, something that was in the past, don't let it take over now. Allow yourself to see what is now, like the monks in that part of what I learned about the skulls symbolism, right? They said, let me just find what it said again. So these were a group of monks in Rome, Italy. I didn't mark down the name, that have skulls all around in their symbolism. And it was a reminder of our own mortality. Yeah, but it was also to take each moment as it comes and to get on living, to continue the living. So if there's something from the past that's sort of pulling you, holding you, wrapping you in chains, that needs to be figured out. Don't let that hold on to you. This skull of illumination is saying, hey, let's see these things differently. And maybe this different perspective is going to be helpful. Okay. Interesting. So we had the mummy with change, and then we've got this. So it's quite a lot of stuff. So if you're feeling as if there's something big going on right now, then this could all be part of it. And give yourself a breath. Take a breath. Allow yourself to notice what's coming up for you, what's important for you, and how can you look at it in different ways, in different perspectives. In shadow, out of shadow, in light. Maybe you're upside down. Maybe you feel like you're wrapped up in something, like you got cobwebs on your head and you can't see forward, or you're like a mummy and somebody dressed you up in some wrapping that you're not happy with. And as you sort of peel that off, maybe you can then go, oh yeah, I can see out. I can see something different. I can allow myself to look, to have light, to open, to breathe. How great is that? Let's pull another card around the full moon energies, and it might all tie in with what we've got here, or it might be something new. So I'm just seeing which deck. The Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Lynn have caught my attention. So this is the back of the deck. Let me just show it to you. All right. This is a Hay House published. The tarot cards I used by Ciro Marchetti are published by Llewellyn. So let's see, full moon energies. Ooh, she's big, she's bright, she's beautiful. As I said, for those in the northern hemisphere, it is summertime. So we've got big, bright moon with big, bright sun, lots of illumination. So let's see what wants to come up. Oh, stepping into stillness. So yes, we're a time of brightness and daylight, but we can also bring in stillness. So whether the moon is crescent in the future, in the next little while, or full moon right now coming in, stars up in the sky, there may be clouds, there may not be, there may be breezes, there may not be. There's a town below, and she is sitting hanging out with the crescent moon, and they both have a little smile on their face, contentedly stepping into stillness. So that comes in a bit with that breathing part that came in with the hanging man. Take a breath and see. It's also related to the sacredness of the skulls. There's a pause there. There's no need to rush with a skull. Take a pause. The affirmation on this card says, my power is born in the majesty of silence. So listen to your body, listen to your spirit, listen to your heart, listen to your gut, listen to your mind, but allow your mind to work through the brain to give you other insights. So you want to work with the brain, but if your brain's very active, or if it's super busy in survival mode, then the mind is going to come in with spirit to bring in a different energy. Stillness, silence, serenity, perhaps, breathing, just listening. So what do you need to listen to right now for yourself? Is it something within yourself? Is it a story you've been telling you that has got you all wrapped up, and now it's time to unwrap it and allow it to release and flow? Is it listening to nature and the wild? Is it listening to the night sounds if you're sitting out with the full moon and the stars? Is it listening to someone who's close to you, who is expressing something, but maybe you haven't listened, or maybe you're not giving that moment of pause to listen? And perhaps now it would be great to do so. So stepping into stillness for yourself. So this full moon with these cards feels, with the skull from July, that yes, there's change. Yes, there's a need to get off that hanging man thing, but a pause can help to do that. The stillness can help to do that. This doesn't feel like it's a rushing in, a zipping in, pulling and pushing in. It's more of a flow that comes from a breath, that comes from a pause, that comes from a stillness. Okay. Let me lead that into another card. Let me see where this wants to go. Surrender. So the Power of Surrender is a deck by Judith Orloff, also Hay House. So let me just shuffle this. Full moon energies, working with the July card, Skull of Light. We just got stepping into stillness with the affirmation, my power is born in the majesty of silence. And now we're going to pull a Power of Surrender card. So see which of these cards resonate for you, which part of the messages. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't really resonate, but something in the card does. And then take note of your own intuitive insights, your own point of view, what is coming up for you and what's important for you. Surrender procrastination. Oh. So it's stillness, it's pause, but perhaps it isn't procrastinating. So where do you need to listen to yourself? Is this full moon? What do you want to release? And what do you need to bring in? So it's a gorgeous scene. I'm going to show it to you. It looks like a big forest, woodland, maybe jungle, and somebody's created a natural staircase going up towards the light. So like our Skull of Light, our illumination, this forest, this staircase is illuminated to help you. But it's surrendering procrastination. It's not surrendering everything. It's surrendering procrastination so there can be clarity, so that illumination can come in. So maybe clutter is something that you've been procrastinating on, or maybe there's a big project, or maybe listening to yourself is actually what you're procrastinating about. The time off this is the text on this card says, now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. So with the other cards, as I drop the card, that's not very helpful. There we go. Hi, I'm back. So this is the picture. So with some of the other cards, we've had that pause and breath. We've had that take a moment, see things from a different perspective. We've also had change. So you may be coming at this from a different angle from somebody else, but see where it's most valuable to you. See where it's most meaningful to you. And is procrastination an issue? If it is, with this full moon, you want to use the full moon energy. You want to use the illumination energy of the July card and get yourself moving forward for this goal, climbing up the steps if you need to. Take it one step at a time. Taking some form of action will attract success. Now, your action could be stepping into stillness, because the stepping is action. So you could be stepping into stillness in order to feel your own power, to get your own power as you get into the silence. So all different avenues, all different aspects that you can come to this, which makes a lot of sense with our hanging man. Not always obvious, but see what most connects with you. See what most resonates for you. Okay. I'm looking to see what last card wants to come up, and I'm getting drawn to the Dragon Oracle. Which is lovely. I haven't pulled a Dragon card in a while. Dragon Oracle cards by Diana Cooper, also Hay House published. So let's see what they want to bring in. Full moon coming, July energies. What do you need? What do you want? What are you being told to listen to illuminate, to bring out of the shadows, to get yourself untangled, unchained? Nope, hold on, let me see. Nope, wrong cards. Sometimes they come immediately, and sometimes you gotta do a little listening, right? A little shuffling. See what they want to bring forward. Yeah, okay, here we go. Feels like there were a lot of dragon cards that wanted to come up. So if you have connected with your own dragon, you could work with them. If not, allow dragon energy to come in to show you different messages and different insights. So we get Source Dragon. Gorgeous. Source Dragon. big, beautiful, so pale gold colors. There's a figure eight infinity sign up above their head. And here it's like a cosmos, a sort of spiraling of a cosmos. And it says, Source Dragon attunes you to the infinite. Be still. In the silence, magic can happen. Be in the moment. That's a beautiful summary. One of the skull's meanings was be in the moment, be in your life. From the full moon, we had stepping into stillness. My power is born in the majesty of silence. And here we get the source dragon, connecting all these things together. Source attunes you to the infinite with a capital I. Be still. In the silence, magic can happen. Be in the moment. Beautiful. Thank you, Source Dragon. So you can call on Source Dragon during this full moon, connect with them more deeply, see what wants to come up. And I'm going to leave you there with these cards, wishing you well for this upcoming full moon, July full moon, and a wonderful rest of your month, working with the Skull of Light and your own cards for the month of July. Until next time, I'm Sheila Bicknell, BlueWater Oracle. Please feel welcome to reach out if I can be of help. Otherwise, I hope to see you here on YouTube and also on my Instagram, my Facebook, and direct contact if you want to. Wishing you a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Happy and blessed full moon to you. Until next time, ciao.